Good morning, Dota fans. We're going to have a joint Dota League Season 5 Asia Division 2 Best of 2 ahead of us between Kingdom and G7. I'm GrandisV, and I'll be joined by Couchor here on HeflaTV 1 for these games.
Man, I can just say that, first of all, I'm so damn happy that the teams showed up on time, even slightly early of a start. And not only that, both teams do have their full rosters as well, more or less. The guy with the Chinese letters should be Lee Hongki, a player who also plays for Kingdom. Well, should be like a regular member for them. So, timely start. Both teams have their lineups. What's happening?
I have no idea, but I like it. We'll start off this draft with a Brewmaster first pick for Kingdom, following Like an Axe, Disruptor, and Spirit Breaker being the first bans.
Well, otherwise, you would think that maybe weird bans. Disruptor maybe still a little bit so, but Spirit Breaker is a hero of the Kingdom. I think I've seen them play in the last 4 games minimum. Just every single game, there's been a Spirit Breaker for them. So it's definitely a team-specific ban there. Disruptor, though, not entirely sure. Maybe G7 are going to go for any kind of IO combination. I do believe they have played IO quite a bit in the past, but starting with a Lion, I guess there might be an IO somewhere along the way. Maybe Kingdom are going to ban it out in the second phase, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. If they want to get their hands onto it, I'd expect they'd pick that up first, but looks like they're taking their time with this second pick. Outside of that, they already have the Lion to get an instant disable up against the Brewmaster, and following up with the Earth Spike and the Finger of Death to lock him down. It's a pretty good all-around pick. Brewmaster is a hero that has been falling out of favor quite heavily as of late, but it seems that Kingdom will still put their faith in the hero.
Yeah, Kingdom is a team that actually run the Brewmaster in the offlane rather often, so might be another offlane Brewmaster for them. Just kind of a full-on utility role with that. As G7, they used to play quite a bit of Meepo, and a lot of teams do ban out the Meepo against them as well. At the moment, though, no clue. They are really taking a long time. Just a quick check. Well, never mind. Nobody has disconnected from their side, so the drafter should still be present, but going for a Tidehunter. I was expecting maybe like a Vengeful Spirit if you want a secondary support, possibly like a Shadow Fiend for the core, but it's not like Tidehunter is bad or anything. It's also a hero that has kind of fallen out of favor, like the Brewmaster.
Yeah, still going to offer a nice big teamfight ultimate for your side, and pretty good against the Brewmaster. The Anchor Smash does mitigate quite a lot of the damage that he can do inside the split, and another way that they can control him. So I'm not opposed to it by any means, but that Vengeful Spirit you were talking about earlier is going to be snagged up by Kingdom as it's been left in the pool.
I mean, Vengeful is just such a great hero, great skill set, have a solid stun, maybe not the longest duration, but a semi-reliable one at the very least. Also, minus armor, great for taking fights, early Roshan's. Nice for pushing as well with that Vengeance Aura, and the swap for defensive measures, or even initiating the fight if really necessary. So, looking at the next bans to Kingdom, panning out the Zeus. That, it can be a strong hero for sure, but I have to say I didn't think about the Zeus at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely is one of those heroes that can be very useful. Maybe they're looking for something along the lines of a Terrorblade that really does get destroyed by that much amount of nuke damage coming out from the Zeus, and in combination with the Lion, you can 100 to 0 most heroes pretty easily inside the duration of those disables, but yeah, not exactly the ban that I was expecting coming out from Kingdom. We'll have to see what that's going to slant them towards. Meepo might be a hero to look out for in this draft, as Kingdom did run it in their last game, I believe, in the Join Dota League, so we'll just have to see. Right now, it's not looking to be the greatest of Meepo games already, with the Lion, Tidehunter, and Brewmaster on the table. I'm not sure if any of these teams are going to be comfortable running it. We'll see G7 ban out the Silencer.
Well, Silencer definitely can screw over a team fight specific lineup, which Tidehunter usually is a part of. And I mean, Ravage, yes, it's a long cooldown, but even so, Global Silence would be there for every single Ravage if used correctly. And G7, I guess they might be going for like even more team fight. Depending on what lineup Kingdom go for, we might see an Enigma as well for G7 if Kingdom's lineup isn't too great at punishing just greedy lanes. We'll see what they have to bring to us, because otherwise Silencer, just to make sure Tidehunter gets off a Ravage, is like so-so.
If Kingdom do opt to go for that offlane Brewmaster you were talking about earlier, the Lion probably would be able to zone him out pretty effectively just by himself, so maybe they would be able to get away with an Enigma. Outside of that, there are still a lot of really high-tier heroes left inside the pool that neither team really have wanted to snag for themselves. If Kingdom really want to have easy access to Roshan Pit, Troll is always available, and Juggernaut's also been untouched. So a lot of these heroes that are omnipresent over in the Western scene seem to have been ignored, or at the very least are not being touched yet.
It definitely is a little bit weird to see, to be honest. I mean, usually it's still picked up, at least from the previous days I've seen of Southeast Asian Dota. It's still like Shadow Fiend in the first phase and heroes like that, but I guess it's kind of team preference, and we might still see it coming out as well, not banned out so far. Sniper does get the ban hammer though from Kingdom. And, well, Troll could be fine for either one. To be honest, I think I've only seen like one game of Juggernaut ever since he got nerfed. And even that I think he lost as well. So I'm not too sure how much people even want to go for the Juggernaut these days.
Yeah, we'll see the Shadow Fiend banned out by G7 will secure their mid lane quite a bit, a really hard hero to lock down, especially when you have support stacking for him, even if you kill him a handful of times inside the laning stage. Very easy to come back and combos well with the Venge. It's going to be a Phoenix for G7, and this makes the Silencer ban make a lot more sense. A hero that really gets shut down hard by that Silencer.
Yeah, it's so damn devastating. Usually you're so reliant on the Icarus type to escape, but if last word is on you, yes, you can use the Icarus type, but then the silence will proc, and you're just gonna be at the same point where you started from, so not gonna do any good to you. But one thing mechanically, I have no idea how it actually takes place, but you have to have heroes hitting at the egg, but if the Brewmaster is in Primal Split, is it like 3 heroes hitting then when he uses all the Brewlings?
I don't think so. I think they're counted as hero units, and I don't think the Spirit Bear actually hits the egg either. I think it has to be proper heroes.
And that's I guess pretty decent. Then you just see the Primal Split coming out, you pop the Supernova, and you're like, yeah, good luck, guys. So we'll see how they're going to use the Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix all in all can be extremely strong in the correct hands anyway, but considering they already have a Tidehunter, which usually is played in the offlane, is this going to be just a Phoenix support then?
It very well could be. I mean, it's a decent zoning support, but it would leave both of their supports very level dependent. And I'm not sure if I really like that. Maybe they throw the Tidehunter mid, or even throw the Tidehunter as support, depending on what the lanes are.
It's I can't even say which one I would like more or which one I would like least as a support, whether the Tide or the Phoenix. Maybe Phoenix as support. It's hard to say. Whichever one they go for as support, Lion +1, both of them will need levels, both of them will need farm. So whichever support duo it will be, it's going to be kind of greedy, or it's going to be just a little bit lackluster in performance, possibly. I mean, Tidehunter support just can't do a hell of a lot, really.
Yeah, definitely. So the Vengeful Spirit Earthshaker combination can run into some issues. Not particularly good at zoning out an offlaner, so maybe they will be able to throw the Phoenix towards that lane and get quite a bit out of it, and allow the Tidehunter to farm up in the jungle to catch up in the game if they really need that. So, yeah, honestly, I think G7 are open to really any laning situation they want as far as their offlane is concerned with the supporting duo. Even though they do have a decent amount of disable between them, the damage is pretty lackluster.
Well, now that the Earthshaker comes out, I guess Phoenix in the offlane would be a tad bit better, just because even if the Fissure block is there, you can still Icarus dive over it, whereas Tidehunter he would be completely stuck. So we'll see how what G7 want to do now, though. Picking up a Troll Warlord, it's maybe not the most synergy with the heroes that they have so far, but it's some help anyway with the Battle Trance. Also, Troll Warlord by himself makes for easier erosions. Pretty nice pushing as well from the entire team with the Battle Trance. So all in all, a solid pickup, a hero that also doesn't mind really building a BKB, for example, which against Kingdom definitely won't be a bad item.
I also kind of feel like this is somewhat of a deny pick. Inside Kingdom's lineup, it is very synergistic and counter-synergistic, with the Vengeful Spirit minus armor making Roshan very easy, as well as just having that Battle Trance to kill off the Phoenix's Supernova. It's really hard to play around that. Kingdom, gonna go for a Drow Ranger with already 2 melee heroes in their lineup, not the pick I was expecting.
Most certainly not. At least, I mean, maybe they are somewhat worried about that Supernova. Drow Ranger has pretty nice attack speeds anyway, having that marksmanship, of course. So far, G7, I guess apart from the Phoenix, they don't have like the best heroes to get close to the Drow Ranger, and the Phoenix might not be the perfect hero for that. And also, usually building like a Mask of Madness, which will make it even easier to kill Supernova, but then again, Drow, not the like tankiest of heroes in general. Maybe has a pretty nice armor amount thanks to the marksmanship extra agility, but just he's gonna have to be so careful once the blink daggers come out on G7. But Kingdom, they have the Earthshaker and the Vengeful Spirit to safeguard the draw, so I guess it might be fine.
Yeah, it really feels very risky though, especially if Troll Lord gets his hands onto that Blink Dagger. I foresee this Drow Ranger just ending up dying so very quickly. We'll see Razor banned out by G7, and it would have been a really annoying hero for them to lane around, especially with the bonus damage coming up from the Drow. You really can't touch Razor in lane.
Yeah, could Kingdom still go for a Viper, for example, though?
Yeah, they could, but I think out of the two, Troll would rather lane against a Viper than a Razor, if that makes any sense.
It definitely might be true, to be honest, but it's just kiting the troll around in general using the Viper Strike might be kind of annoying, and Viper, although maybe not the hardest of carries in general, with the Drow Ranger, Precision Aura, a little bit more so all of a sudden. Although up against Troll, I mean, any physical carry might be struggling a tiny bit when the Troll gets close enough with the Whirling Axes at least up until the point to get the Monkey King bar. But for a Viper to farm that one up after like a Mech Aghanim Scepter, it just would take so long. But G7 now going for a Medusa. Also a hero that Kingdom quite easily could have gone for, to be honest. But Kingdom, they kind of need a ranged hero now, right?
Yeah, I think so. If they don't go for it, Drow Ranger's aura is somewhat wasted. Vengeful Spirit does benefit a decent amount from it, but for the most part, it feels like Drow Ranger is the only one that's actually going to be making good use of it. G7's lineup now incredibly mid-game and late-game oriented, but their lanes are also looking pretty solid. I'm not sure how Kingdom actually cracked this egg, so to speak.
I have to agree with you there, because G7, it is looking really solid indeed. Their hero's definitely not too easy to be brought down as Kingdom. Picking up a Wind Ranger, I think that there weren't like too many options anyway open for heroes like Viper or Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger can make excellent use of the Precision Aura using the Focus Fire, of course. So this is going to be, I guess, Brewmaster offlane, throw Tri-Lane safe, and Wind Ranger mid, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the likely course of action for Kingdom. It really feels like they need to ride a lot of momentum off of this Drow Ranger, as well as the Brewmaster in the mid-game. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to put it all together, but if they fail the first couple of ganks with that Brewmaster split, it really feels like they're going to be running into a lot of trouble. Battle Trance plus Medusa is a pain to deal with, especially when you have supernovas going off. There's a lot of heroes that demand attention.
Oh god, it's also the fact that Kingdom, having picked up the Drow Ranger, suddenly your team is quite reliant on physical damage, but Medusa, she's so great at it. You pop the Stone Gaze and suddenly the enemy, well, they can go in with a couple of extra attacks, but then they're gonna have to turn their backs unless they want to get petrified completely. So G7, they're definitely gone for a really solid draft, especially up against what Kingdom has, and like you said, Kingdom, they have to get so much momentum. It's really Brewmaster, he needs a reasonably timed level 6, if he can help it. Also a fast Blink Dagger, but they really need this Primal Split, that I think, to just start creating space for them.
Yeah, I think so as well. To introduce the Kingdom side, we're going to have Draken playing on the Earthshaker, Chase going to be handling the Brewmaster, Lee Hong Ki on the Drow Ranger, Beyonce on the Wind Ranger, not sure if he goes by any other name, Fruits going to be playing on the Venge, last but not least.
As for G7, Kallai will be heading, at the moment at least, towards the offlane on the Phoenix, leaving Show to play the Tidehunter with Leo on the Medusa, Link playing the Lion, and the last for them is going to be Kenji on the Troll Warlord.
Yeah, well, let's see how these lanes match up. Looks like Medusa is going to be handling the mid lane up against the Wind Ranger. Not the greatest of lanes for Medusa, but also not unmanageable. It should be pretty serviceable either way. The extra damage from the Drow Ranger is something to keep in mind, however. So Wind Ranger should have a slight edge, but nothing too crazy unless we have some support rotations. Looks like we have some sort of lag. Okay, no, never mind. G comes out from Beyonce. And we'll continue.
The word hang felt like weirdly nostalgic to me somehow. I mean, it used to be so common when we had a little bit more Southeast Asian Dota to cast, especially from the Philippines teams. It was like all the time hang, at least 3-4 times a game. Some of this PC just lagged out. But thank God this time around was a fast unpause, and it might be a dual offlane with a Tidehunter and Phoenix. That's like one of the weirdest lanes I've seen, although Beyonce might be in some trouble. Windrun level 1 ain't all that great, but then again, the heroes coming to gank ain't that great at ganking either, but Fire Spirits will come out, slowing down Gush as well. This might be easy first blood. Windrun is there, but he's still slowed down. A few more attacks, a Fire Spirit. I think it's gonna be enough. Oh no, the Fissure! Oh god, another Fire Spirit will land, but I don't think it's gonna be enough damage.
No, Wind Ranger going to survive. Nice defensive play coming out from the ES, but the bounty run is secured just the same by G7. Ranger gets the one down towards bottom, so it looks like mid lane is going to be exactly even when it comes to that extra bit of gold. No, excuse me, the Wind Ranger didn't actually pick up the bounty for the Dire, it was the Dro. But still, unfortunately the G7 don't get that first blood, at least for them. Back to this top lane with the Tide and Phoenix. Even though it looks a little bit wonky, I think they can get away with this. This lane can put a decent amount of pressure up against Kingdom's lineup, excuse me.
It's also, I mean, Tidehunter, really resilient to physical damage usually anyway, especially if he gets the Anchor Smash on the targets. Then with the Fire Spirits to follow means that they're not going to be attacking at all almost. Then again, Tidehunter having to go for Gush early on to try to get the kill. It just means that there's not going to be an Anchor Smash, there's not going to be a Kraken Shell straight out. And also mid lane just, well, we also, Chase already also has to go back home up against the dual lane, but this Wind Ranger, he's almost out of tangos, has one more, but he cannot really go up to farm, and without that he's not going to get the bottle either, so the mid lane progression, although he didn't die, is still halted by quite a bit.
Yeah. And usually the thing that... Oh, Magic Missile up towards top, looking for Calais. They are going to drop the Fissure, and the damage is enough. Phoenix is going to die to the creeps, but the gold is still going to be given the way of the Venge and the Earthshaker.
That was a little bit easier than I thought, but Kingdom, they of course knew that he had Fire Spirit skilled up, and since he was level 1, there was no chance for him to have Icarus type. And starting at 0 base armor, it's just no good at all. Precision Aura, although it only gives you 6 damage at the moment, definitely plenty. I mean, you have 473 HP on Phoenix with 0 armor. That's... You're just not going to survive without Icarus type in such a situation. Too many stuns, even with there being 2 of them. So nicely done by Kingdom, grabbing the first blood themselves. Chase, in the meantime, just man fighting the Lion in the enemy jungle. Doesn't care too much, but doesn't have any stout shield either, so even Lion's attacks are doing quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, it's not something that you can take lightly. Double damage rune's going to spawn bottom, should be taken by Chase. But still, the Lion's able to put a lot of damage into him. With only 2 tangos left, this Brewmaster is going to be pad out of regen as soon as he comes back in this lane. And usually the thing that you're going to think about when you go for these dual lanes and what's going to dissuade you from doing it is making your other lanes weaker. And it just doesn't seem to be the case, especially when Troll goes absolutely hog wild behind that tier 2 tower, really putting the hurt to poor Chase. Can't get much.
He's not even level 2 yet, although there's a creeper under his own tower, and you don't really see it all that often with a dual lane being able to just keep a hero like that. Although Kalai in trouble once again, one more attack. Did get the Icarus die, but the attack was already flying at that point, and shows now he's going to get slowed down by the Frost Arrows. He will be just tanky enough to survive, but man, that top lane, especially the Phoenix there, is not really providing too much other than just feeding.
No, not really. After these first couple of deaths, any theoretical advantage, or at least being able to hold even inside this lane, is pretty much gone for G7. At this point, I'm not sure what the Phoenix does. There's not really a clear opening for him. Phoenix is a hero, doesn't really accomplish much at these early levels with rotations, and can't farm jungle very effectively. She does offer the slow, but that's about it.
Oh, well, it's... that was like... Other than having the Phoenix and the Tidehunter, both of them, just as a laning duo and all in all in the draft, that was one of their like wildcard picks. Other than that, really solid draft. So we'll see if this Phoenix is going to be like, well, Beyond's Mystic Snake, one attack just goes down. Medusa gets an easy pick off there. Wind Ranger was hanging around with such low HP for a really long period of time, but this Phoenix, he really might be just the guy weighing down G7 for this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I was not expecting Medusa to get that kill solo. They rotate in the Phoenix and the Tide in the meantime, but end up not needing them at all. Down towards the bottom rune spot. Going to be secured by Ling, but he ends up paying the price as Fruits gets that kill. A deceptive amount of damage coming out from the Venge with 60 at this point in the game.
That was definitely not worth picking up the bounty rune from the Lion, or at least could have used the Hex. Not entirely sure, maybe he was lacking the mana for the Hex after the Earth Spike, but just slight miscalculation by the Lion, I guess. So a little bit unfortunate. Kingdom pick up another kill for themselves top lane though. They used the Couchor to the draw. Icarus type as well might be enough with the help of the tower possibly, but this gonna get casted back, fissured up, and it's gonna go down again, I think. Nope, stays alive somehow thanks to the Fire Spirit somewhat, I guess. It showed another Anchor Smash, but he's gonna get kited around after this point, I believe. Maybe it turns around for Drakan and Earthshaker, never mind. Both of them are gonna back off. A nice cast again from the draw. Show does not pick up the kill last. Well, Fruits came in from the back lines. Stun already used to get one kill, but the Fissure, Tidehunter, oh god, the power shot comes in to snipe the kill.
An absolute disaster up in the top lane for G7 as they lose both the Phoenix and the Tide. Joe Ranger is so easily able to kite them around, as there's just not really anything at this point other than the Icarus dive that they can use to close the gap, and that was used pretty much to initiate after the Gush. Though Dro going to be able to survive, TP's back to base, and picks up that third Wraith Band, going to be offering, even at this point, an extra 9 damage to the team, even with only 1 point into that Precision Aura.
And all the while this has been going on, Chase is level 5 already in the Brewmaster. Early minutes were a disaster for him, couldn't get any XP or anything at all, but suddenly level 5, not looking too bad at all, has a Tranquil Boot. It's just not working out that well for G7, at least Medusa still has excellent farm. I mean, he's exactly doubling the last hits of the Wind Ranger for now. Troll Warlord also has reasonable amount of last hits, but for safe lane farm, it's not that great, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely not. The Medusa is starting to pull ahead, and that is problematic for Kingdom, but at least for now, I think they're in a situation where they'll be comfortable taking it. We'll have to see. Up towards top, Galay going to be cut out again, but with only the Venge here, Phoenix is going to be able to make it back, but is going to be sent all the way back to base, or at least should be.
I would hope so as well. Thank God he has boots at least. Oh, it really has been like really bad game for the Phoenix so far, but Chase, he's contesting a pull through at the moment. He's going to be able to hit level 6 from this Mod Golem, and the few creeps will get Air Spike up, so Link gets the Mod Golem for himself. But Brewmaster, dangerously close to level 6 to be honest if you ask me, so we'll see how much, or if he's even going to start rotating. Maybe with the Prime Split, he's just going to use it to be a little bit more present on the lane, go in with 4L, a couple of more last hits for example.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, but in the offlane, I think this is more than acceptable for the Brewmaster, especially considering the Phoenix and the Tide both lacking that level 6 mark, and won't have it for a minute or so.
Well, Troll in the meantime does pick up Face Boots, has himself the Helm of Iron Will also, so going for the Helm of the Dominator. Using the creeps correctly, of course, you can easily stack up Ancients for yourself, just normal camps, maybe even get like a Alpha Wolf for the pack leader's aura, try to go snipe Roshan for example. Although, if the Troll has been missing from the lane, I guess since you see a lifesteal item on him, you might just expect him to farm up jungle. So, if the Troll has been missing from the lane for, let's say, a minute and a half, if you're Kingdom, do you worry about the possible Roshan attempt? Do you go check it, or do... Oh, Primal Split comes
the sidelines, they are looking to collapse onto this Troll Warlord. They throw the boulder and run forward. They don't cyclone anything up, but a nice fissure block over onto Genji, and a magic missile flies through. They might have the damage, but Troll's going to turn around with the melee axes onto the Earthshaker himself. The Brewlings are coming to cut him off, but the Troll's still surviving. Now the Brewmaster split is completely over. Turn around onto Fruits with the Earth Spike. Nobody's actually died yet, and it looks like that's going to be the case. It's an Icarus dive buys Kalei a little bit more space. What an anticlimactic use of the first split.
Oh god, I'm pretty surprised that the Troll survived, but Phoenix this time around, he landed some pretty great Fire Spirits, which definitely mitigated a lot of damage that otherwise would have been put onto the Troll Warlord. But the Fissure blocks and the stuns, yes, it's nice for the duration, but Fissure usually want to get the block off as well. But Troll had one just way to escape, still one direction to go towards. So nicely done, surviving there. And like you said, anticlimactic use of the first Primal Split, and suddenly it means that for another 75 seconds or so, this Brewmaster has to play a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though that Brewmaster split doesn't get them a kill directly, it does get them a tier 1 tower as Dro is left alone in the lane up against the Tide. As Dro is packing a whole truckload of agility, level 7. The power chest completed on top of those 3 Wraith Bands, so they definitely do need to worry about this Dro Ranger and the damage he's able to provide. Without the split, however, Brewmaster is susceptible. Troll thinking about going in, but decides better of it, a little too far away, and he'll just go back and farm up jungle for now.
Well, thank God that they decided better of it, because there were 2 heroes smoked and they're gonna get Troll anyway, I think. There's the Magic Missile, Fissure to follow as well, and with the Wind Ranger helping out with the power shot, easy kill. Dro Ranger, I think, even got clipped by that same power shot. Drops down to 100 HP or so. Oh man, just that's the power of the power shot. Coming in like that, especially the buffed one. He's even trying to snipe more. 4 seconds, Kalai will TP out.
Yeah, very close. Beyonce going to look for another one. They spot vision onto poor Ling. Solo support. I'm not sure how that shackle didn't latch. Looks like that power shot was just a little too far out. But with the fissure and just one more clap, they should be able to get him. Or just another power shot. That works too. Everybody's pretty darn low. And Troll's going to come in. He gets a melee axis onto the Venge. It looks like Venge is going to give him a life. But they do have some extra help and a shackle as well to bail out fruits, and he'll be able to make it out alive, as is the Wind Ranger. Straight TP from her too.
Totally did not expect so many trees being cut there, but of course Power Shot easily does that. So nice turn of events for Kingdom once again. Although as the chat also pointed out that even though there's a massive kill lead for Kingdom, looking at the graphs, it's only about a 400 net worth lead for them. XP more or less zeroed out as well. So it's just the fact that Medusa, farming excellently, of course getting some nice XP, he's already level 10 and a half minutes in.
Yeah. Leo's been completely left alone, got 1 kill, and honestly this is probably about as good as you can ask for a Medusa. With the team composition that they have, G7 are very well equipped to deal with ancient stacks, and they've already prepared a triple for themselves, and it looks like Chody is going to look to make that one a little bit extra gold for them and the Medusa. We'll just have to see who they give that to in the end, but definitely something that the enemy team should keep in mind.
Most certainly, especially if the Tidehunter himself gets it. Ravage is definitely good even without the Blink Dagger, but Blink definitely makes that hero into maybe not a killing machine, but like one of the scariest initiations in the game, or counter initiations, because Ravage is just such a huge area, so hard to really escape it if the Blink helps you with the positioning. But this Troll Warlord now, he has the lifesteal ready. What is the next item you go for? Do you go for straight out BKB? Do you still build for like a Yasha, maybe a full out SMY?
I'd be okay with like Yasha into BKB. I think that would be my personal choice, but honestly it's up to preference, I think. He's going to bump into Fruits. There's a magic missile at the ready. Do they have the backup close enough? Doesn't look like it. Earthshaker and Wind Ranger are a little too far out to the right, and Kenji will be able to make it back under his tier 2.
If I was Troll Warlord, or if this was a proper pop game, probably Troll Warlord is like, oh, it's a Vengeful Spirit, I'm totally gonna kill him, but Vengeful, with the amount of minus armor that he provides with both the Wave of Terror as well as the Medallion, it's minus 11 together at the moment. It's a ridiculous amount. I mean, Troll Warlord, he would be on exactly 0 after that.
Yeah, which is crazy to think of after you go for that helm, and on Troll, that adds a decent chunk of armor for himself already. It's not pretty, and the amount of physical damage the Kingdom are pumping out is immense. Right now, G7 feels like they just kind of want to chill, farm up on this Dusa, but they do have a Ravage at the ready and a Finger of Death fresh on the line, so they are going to smoke up and zip behind the Troll up top.
Man, Finger of Death should be easy kills on paper, but we'll see if they can actually pull it off as well. And Chase suddenly has himself a Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster. It's a pretty fast one also, almost level 9. So it's been a pretty decent Brewmaster game, although we haven't seen a great Primal Split yet. Still, with the Blink, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier. The problem is, he is rather low on mana.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see where he goes with this one. He's currently sitting down towards bottom, but it looks like both teams are going to miss each other. Tier 1 tower up towards top is going to fall, and Troranger gets a Roshan in return. With Mask of Madness as well as level 11, a pretty easy objective for Kingdom to snag.
So, another question. Can you focus fire the Supernova? And does it work with the focus fire like that?
I think so.
That's like probably the easiest way to kill Supernova then, I think.
Yeah, this game especially.
It might even be better. It's just as good as Battle Trance, if not better, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out, or if you can. Right now, Kingdom are occupying the Radiant Jungle, and G7 are occupying the Dire, as they all sit behind their Troll, and Kingdom look to push a tier 1 tower in mid. Both teams do quite a lot of structural damage, but at least for now, Kingdom are going to strike first. Tier 1 tower in mid should fall.
Yeah, it's just G7, although they have reasonable lineup to fight with the Ravage, without the Blink it's just hard to get in there. We already saw in the top lane earlier on how easy it is to kite people with the Frost Arrows. So they let the tier 1 fall there, hoping to get the tower in trade. Kenji even using the Battle Trance for that, but in the ranged form, not all that much damage coming out if it's only him solo. And Kingdom, they're like, yeah, screw this. We know Medusa really isn't all that fight ready yet, so we're gonna take advantage of that, go for the tier 2. Fisher does come out with a Blink Thunderclap. This Phoenix didn't even stand a chance. I mean, just such a bad game. 0-4 and 0 for the Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure if it's really the Phoenix's fault because of just how bad the early game was, and right now it's just hard to find any opening unless you have the Tidehunter going in with the Ravage. But they're going to lose the tier 2 tower just the same inside the mid lane. They're not going to stop here. With the DD on the Wind Ranger as well as the Drow Ranger still packing an Aegis, why not? Kingdom at the very least are going to force the enemy back.
Just double damage. Focus fire, absolutely ridiculous. He's even gonna go for a little bit of damage onto Shout as well. Drow Ranger, static attacking from such a far range. Fire Spirits do come out now, and they're gonna back off for now, but Having the Aegis, don't really have to worry about that much even. Maybe check out the enemy Ancients, try to steal them as well. There isn't a stack anymore, so that's nice for G7 because it cannot be stolen that way. But they are still lacking the Blink on Tidehunter. They're about 700 gold short of that one. And it's not that easy for the Tidehunter to farm when Kingdom is just completely overtaking the side of the map.
Yeah, Kingdom are exerting their map control and that mid-game power that we talked about that they needed to abuse inside the draft. They're doing nicely. Even if we haven't seen that many splits, it seems that the threat of the split is enough. And just the raw amount of damage, I suppose, was underestimated a little bit by myself.
So at the moment, G7, they haven't been able to just go for a team fight, although at the moment they are grouped up and probably hoping for one. Oh god, there might be one indeed.
They are going to open up with Fissure on the backlines. They're going to completely drain the Medusa and blow her up. There is a Phoenix Sun over on the sidelines. It is going to stun quite a few. What? They'll kill it just the same. With only level 1 in that Supernova, it just dies too fast. A clean 2-0 for Kingdom and a double kill for their Drow.
It's a nice combination, I guess, if you can get also off the Stone Gaze to buy the necessary time for that Supernova to blow up, but they just died way too fast, and Sonic Kingdom is like, oh, we have 4 heroes there, and Kingdom, they didn't even start focusing the egg immediately. They killed off the hero first, and then started to go for the Supernova egg. And suddenly, they lose the tier 3 Rax under heavy sieges while Kenji is just going to get casted, slowed down as well. Troll Warlord not strong enough. Blink, Thunderclap, Primal Split also coming out. There is the Ravage in the meantime, hitting 3 heroes though. Lee Honky drops low, he's gonna lose his life, but had the Aegis, no worries there. Sunray doing quite a bit of damage even, although it's level 1. Kalai in the backlines is gonna be forced to run out now, goes down to the Maelstrom of the Wind Ranger as Lee Honky still in some trouble, but is just fast enough, I think. Although the Mystic Snake, I think, is gonna do the trick. Yes, with the help of the Gush, it will. So G7, they hold on. They do not lose Rax suddenly. Blink on Tidehunter. Kingdom, they just went too deep for that.
Yeah, a little bit. I was thinking maybe it works out for them, but the high ground defense coming up from G7 is just a little too much. It does cost them a buyback on their Dusa, but still keeping up with the Drow Ranger when it comes to the net worth department. And I think more than anything, it's Kingdom that are starting to lose the momentum of this game. Just one failed push early on can really cost you a lot, especially when it comes to the levels. Currently level 13 on this Dusa. Leo is low on mana, doesn't have the Mystic Snake up, or rather the Mana Shield up now. The Shackle latches, and now in a whole heap of trouble from the low ground. Focus Fire with the Maelstrom damages enough, and well, Mana Shield might have cost her her life. Swap back into the Magic Missile and Chant Totem, and that's going to be Ling's death as well. And G7 are sans Dusa for 50 seconds.
There's no way they're gonna defend Rax now. Ravage is still on cooldown for a pretty long time, 73 seconds. Kingdom, they're all ready to go. Yes, they don't have Primal Split, there's no Echo Slam yet, but it's not like they really even need it, to be honest. So I'd be extremely just baffled if the Rax did not fall here.
Yeah, definitely. So, minus on the Brewmaster, not sure if that's the pick of this game, but he's going to go for it just the same. Either way, doesn't matter. Melee Barracks and mid have fallen, and even though G7 can push against these, it's an 18-minute Raxing, and Kingdom are going to be very happy with this advantage, and it makes the rest of the game a whole heck of a lot easier.
It's also just the Medusa having to buy back and then dying again, which means Sis just lost so much farming time. He was number 1 for the longest time, I think, in net worth. Suddenly is number 3. Drow Ranger overtaking her by a 1k margin. Has SNY on Drow as well, and Drow just provides that much more to the entire team at the moment, even with 2 melee heroes in their lineup, than just a Medusa can with only a meta style.
Yeah, definitely. So right now, I do like the man to pick up on Leo, but it's not the end-all be-all item. Can get you out of the Drunken Haze from the Brewmaster and the Silence from the Drow, but that's really about it. G7 rely almost entirely on having their ultimates up to take a fight, so as long as Kingdom have buyback, it kind of feels like even if they lose a fight, they can come back instantly and go for a second lane of barracks. They are going to lose a tier 1 tower mid in the meantime, as G7 are pretty much primed with all of their ultimates at the ready, so Troll will be able to do a pretty quick job of that.
This Troller needs a little bit more as well. Did go for drums instead of just a Yasha BKB, something like that. I still feel like BKB is kind of a necessity, at least at some point in the game, and for them, that point might be now, because if Kingdom, maybe just wait for next Roshan, get that one, and come in with another Aegis. G7, if they win one fight, it's nice with the Ravage and everything, but we saw that it might not be enough if Kingdom just come in, respawn straight once again down the mid lane, or well down whatever lane they want to push.
Yeah, right now, Kingdom, they have a little bit more time to relax. They can just casually push down these other lanes. With Focus Fire, Beyonce going to make quick work of a tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Easily backdooring that one with the extra Drow damage and the Venge Aura as well applied. Beyonce is a one-man wrecking crew, and he's going to have an Aghanim Scepter up as well. Even though the Shackles haven't been amazing, they've been good, don't get me wrong, but really it's just all about the damage that Wind Ranger's pumping out this time. And now Kingdom are going to have yet another initiating tool, with Dragon picking up a Blink Dagger for his ES.
God, Blink Echo Slam is going to be pretty devastating for G7 if there's a creep wave close by as well. At least they have quite a bit of ranged heroes, so they're not going to be too clumped up, I believe. So Echo Slam might not be that big of a deal, but even just Blink Fisher to get close enough might be a deal breaker if G7 themselves want to initiate, for example.
Wicked Clap split up towards top. The Stone Gaze does come out from Leo, but is that enough to save him? He has a full team behind him. Looks like they're just going to trade the split for nothing, it seems. Nobody else from Kingdom is actually really all that close. They're coming in through the mid tier 2 tower. Shackle in mid catches out Kenji with the magic missile as well as the focus fire. He's obliterated. Troll, generally pretty survivable, not against that damage.
So what's the plan for that Brewmaster there? Just to cancel a couple of TPs so to make sure that they get the tier 2 down bottom lane? Because it certainly felt like it. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way he was hoping to get a solo kill on a Medusa, or would it be possible for the Brewmaster to solo kill Medusa?
I don't think so. I think more than anything that's just space create for Kingdom. They get a kill on the troll in mid and they get a tier 2 tower bottom. I think it's worth it, although indirectly.
And Drow, does he really want to go for more bottom lane? It's never mind. I thought for a second G7 are coming in with a couple of more heroes there. But if Lion gets a Blink Dagger on G7, that might be like the one thing that can help them gain some momentum on their own once again. Until that point though, they're just gonna have to stay back, farm up as much as they can. Medusa has himself another ultimate orb, so almost certainly gonna be a Skadi in the making. Just needs so much more. Medusa, definitely a great hero for late game and everything, but Kingdom, I don't think they're gonna let this get to the late game.
Yeah, it really will take like 20 minutes for Dusa to get to that point. If even then, it might take a little bit longer if Kingdom control up the map like they have been doing. They're gonna go for another Roshan with the Medallion as well as with Terror, Mask of Madness on their Dro. Roshan's going to last a matter of seconds. My goodness, that damage. Alright, there's your second life for Dro.
Oh, they are coming in now. They're going at Leonki, so the Aegis might not do it that much. Ravage also used. Lands on 2 heroes. I believe Drakan even blinked into the Ravage beyond, so he will go down. Supernova was used. It's gonna stun up the Drow even through the BKB of hers. Can he get bashed as well by Kenji? Kenji trying to catch up, but just not fast enough. Even the Sun Rays there. Blink, Thunderclap, Primal Split as well. So Kenji suddenly overextended. He is completely left solo. Primal Split completely zoning out the rest of the team. And suddenly G7, they don't have any gas left in the tank.
Tide Hunter going to be trapped in by creeps, ends up TPing out straight up, and Kingdom, I think they found a huge opening, even though it's not the cleanest of fights, don't get me wrong. Cost them a buyback on Wind Ranger 2, and it's a 1-for-3 trade even with that buyback. It doesn't matter, because now G7 have used their entire team fighting potential to effectively blow the Aegis on the Drill Ranger, and now I think they lose the second set of barracks. How do they defend this?
They probably don't. The best thing they can hope for is to delay things out, but top lane is also pushing in conveniently enough for Kingdom at the same time. Although they cannot possibly go for a triple Rex straight out, this tier 2 at the top lane is going to be easy pickings for them afterwards. Blink, Primal Split though will come out. The Hoofstorm from the center are a little bit off target. Even Fruits swapping out the Drow just to make entirely sure. But Beyonce will come in with a Focus Fire. Just came off cooldown, of course. Really low cooldown anyway with the Aghanims. Oh, nice Blink Earthspike again. Fisher trying to save them as Icarus dive. Blink, gosh, as well. Drow still alive somehow. 60 HP remaining. Does make it out. It was a lot easier of a defense than I really expected it to be.
They'll catch Fruits on the retreat as well. Shackle latches over into Kenji and Leo. How did they go through all those darn trees? But it doesn't matter. They do kill off the Troll Warlord. Now look towards Shoti. They'll blink forward with Chase. They don't get a clap or any further disable. Blink and Icer Spike over into Beyonce. Drops him down. He will lose his life. Lion going to die in return, but the drone just too darn low. Even with the BKB just dropping down to the Medusa herself. It's 14 HP and one more arrow going to be the end of his life. And have Kingdom thrown this one. Triple kill for Leo.
Wow, that's just how the freaking hell did that happen? Kingdom, we thought that like, they're gonna get Rex, there's no Ravage, there's no Stone Gaze, but I guess not having the BKB of cooldown for the Drow Ranger, not having the Aegis to rely upon, they just got caught, and most of it was really set up by the Lion. Great Blink Earth Spikes there to just poke down at the Drow Ranger like that. That was also, I think, a 9-second. Yes, it was a 9-second BKB for the Drow, which didn't do anything just because nice focus fire from Phoenix with that Sun Ray there. Of course, being pure damage means that BKB doesn't do any good to you. Really well fought from G7. I think Kingdom, they're still ahead. They still have the 1 Rax, and I think they still have like a 10-minute window to reliably end this game, but even if this goes super late, it's not like Kingdom are suddenly completely out of it.
No, definitely not, but a glimmer of hope for G7 as we take a look at the net worth graphs, a huge swing in their advantage. That's pretty much just one fight in their favor, and that's pretty much half of the raw net worth advantage down the drain, and experience is almost completely zeroed out. If it weren't for this Rax that's down in mid, I'd say the G7 have an advantage right now, if by nothing else, just through raw momentum.
That is also Leo finishing up the Eye of Skadi now after that fight. I didn't think he's gonna get it that fast, to be honest, but that's how fights go, especially if one team is that far ahead at one point. So if the Troll Warlord can also start catching up with farm, at the moment looks to be going for the BKB, which definitely makes sense. So once he gets the BKB after that, can start focusing on any kind of damaging items. Is there like a particular item you would like to see in the Troll after the BKB is done?
Probably MKB. I'd expect Draw Ranger to go Butterfly next, but who knows? Honestly, as long as it's something that hits hard for Genji, I think it's fine.
So we'll see what the item progression is as... Oh god, Shoti just popped the Ravage farming Ancients.
Yeah, I heard that, but, well, lucky enough for them, Kingdom don't know that Ravage is on cooldown, so... maybe they won't fight just with the raw threat of Ravage, but that's such a big misclick.
Damn, it's... I guess he wanted... Maybe it's close enough to his, like, inventory, keybinds, hotkeys. I'm not too sure, but... I'm almost positive that his team is like, oh god, no you didn't.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if they're able to wait out the next 2 minutes. Kingdom are going to keep up this pressure, but it doesn't look like they really want to fight right now. They are fighting into what they think is the full barrage of G7 ultimates, which is a very, very scary combination, especially now that Medusa is actually able to contribute to that. So we'll just have to see how this all plays out. Maybe that misclick means absolutely nothing, but at least for now G7 are a little bit tense, I'd expect.
Probably indeed. It's just them lacking vision. Kingdom that is not having vision on that high ground makes the world of difference. If they knew that Ravage is on cooldown, it's like, that's our best opportunity to go get second Rax, get another big advantage for ourselves. But they don't, so Ravage is cooling off, more than halfway done already. Leo, of course, keeps on farming in the meantime, is number 1 in net worth, only by 200, but number 1 nonetheless, so it's not looking all that bad. Definitely a hell of a lot better than it was like 3-4 minutes ago. But Kingdom, they themselves look to be rather afraid of just splitting up, because G7, if they come in as full 5, Kingdom, they need full 5 to counter the fight.
Yeah, definitely so. Right now, Chase does have that Agnum Scepter completed up after going for that Midas. We have a Blink Dagger Fresher on the Dro, but outside of that, no major items for Kingdom. I think we might have a 4-staff on the Vengeful Spirit, and, well, that's about it for them. G7, they don't really have that much on their supports, but I think it's more than enough. You have a Blink online, and I don't think you can ask for much more. Blink Hex Initiation is probably good enough.
It should be indeed. And, well, Chase, man, with the Agnum Scepter on the Brewmaster, it's not like it's a super late one or anything, but is it a worthy item to just invest the 4.2k gold into?
Probably not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Tier 2 tower up towards top is going to be taken out very quickly by Kingdom, and well, Sardis breaking high ground is Tier 2 towers are very easy to take. Ravage is back up and running for G7, so they do have all of their spells at the ready. Goss going to instantly silence Kalei. Now Blink Clap in. The Draw Ranger is going to initiate as well. They do have the Ravage counter initiate, and this might go disastrously. They are going to be able to bring down this Draw, or will they? Defensive swap the BKB is going to keep her alive. Phoenix Sun going to blow up, and it looks like it might stun one. No, not even going to happen. It does stun up all of those Brewlings, however, going to throw the Phoenix up into the air and chase down Shoti. Right now, the Troll and the Earthshaker are the only casualties, and Draw Ranger still surviving over on the sidelines. Where's the Medusa in all of this? If she was there, could be a completely different fight. Buyback in the Troll is going to dissuade them from going for any more. Now, they are going to be able to get the Earth Spike up onto Chase. 4 staff away from the Vengeful Spirit, going to buy him a little bit more space, but the Sunray doing a lot of work. Will it kill off? No. Ranged Axe is not going to connect either, and a blink away from the Brewmaster. Is that going to buy him enough space, I think? Maybe not going to be the case, as no, with the blinking in line. They just need one disable or spike. Oh, going to raise the coattails of Chase as he's going to blink away and TP. Looks like that's going to buy him his way out. Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane was taken by the Medusa, but she ends up dying for it.
Medusa should have just straight out TP'd home and fought there, to be honest. At least after the Ravage, it would have guaranteed that Kingdom have no way to back up the other heroes. The Troll, though, I thought, like, yeah, he's totally gonna kill something, but still not having the BKB. I guess Aghanim Scepter paid off for the Brewmaster in this fight. Just double Thunderclap completely wrecked this Troll Warlord apart.
Yeah, definitely did. Nice counter initiations pretty much both ways. I thought that Ravage would almost be enough, but well, in the end, it's going to be pretty much a wash. Does cost them buyback on the Troll, and G7 are losing a lot of momentum on this hero. Right now, you'd really like to have BKB plus another major item on top of it, but for now, Kenji's just sitting on the helm, the drums, and halfway towards BKB. Doesn't really cut it.
It's just go for the drums in between. I guess if we went for Yasha, it's kind of the same item, to be honest. Gives you some extra attack speed, movement speed also. Of course, Yasha doesn't give you strength, so drums, in some cases, a little bit better, helps out the team as well, but just needed the BKB a hell of a lot earlier, especially now having the buyback as well. Oh god, Troll's life is hard, and Medusa, as great of a carry she is, up against free heroes, especially heroes that have such great focus fire, the Drow and the Wind Ranger, it's going to be really hard for G7. They really have to have a Ravage every single fight, but Wind Ranger also has a BKB now, so even the Ravage might not cut it.
It is going to be a Spirit Refresher for Tidehunter, and he's pretty close to it. Just 1,500 gold or so. So they are going to be able to have that Ravage for every fight, should they want to use it that way. Yeah, for now we've kind of stalled out as Kingdom have backed off and aren't really in any situation to fight. We're going to be waiting out the next Roshan, and I suppose lucky enough for G7, it's going to be a long Roshan respawn timer. Maybe they wanted it now, I don't know. It depends. They do have all of their cooldowns at the ready.
The thing is that G7, even if they see Kingdom going into a Roche Pit, even if they have Ward Vision there, they're gonna have to react within like 5 to 10 seconds, because that's how fast they probably will take Roshan down. Last time around, once they had the Focus Fire coming out from the Wind Ranger and they had a minus armor of both the Wave of Terror and the Medallion, Roshan really does die in less than 10 seconds. So G7, they're almost always gonna have to be near Roche Pit to be able to contest it.
Yeah, and we're seeing that now. Pretty much Medusa's reserved to be farming up in this vicinity. My goodness, I hate that bug. Not exactly sure what causes it. But either way, they're still somewhat okay with this. Medusa is keeping up with the Drow, even though she's a little bit behind still. I think that she's still in effectiveness, probably a little bit stronger than the Drow Ranger when it comes to what she's able to contribute to the team fight. But as of yet, we still haven't seen the big Supernova as well as Stonegaze combination.
If G7 got like a straight out jump on the Drow and managed to kill her before she gets swapped out or before she gets a BKB and runs out, something like that, it's only going to mean that everybody's going to lack 59 damage, or at least every ranged hero on their side, and 59 damage lost on Wind Ranger is definitely a big deal, although Wind Ranger hitting pretty hard as it is, at least when that Brewmaster's Vladimir's offering is there as well. But oh, they get the jump! It is only a Vengeful Spirit, but it is a defensive just mechanic that suddenly Drow does not have to rely on anymore.
And it's also some amount of minus armor that's now denied them if they want to go for that Roshan. It is almost a maximum respawn timer. I'm not exactly sure down to the second if Kingdom have this timer down, but Earthshaker right now is scouting it out. So it doesn't matter either way. They'll be able to know exactly when it's up, and both teams are currently bottled up around this Roche Pit. The ultimate that they have to expend for that Vengeful Spirit kill is the Finger of Death, and although that's nice to have in the team fight, it's probably the least important one to use after the Troll Warlord Battle Trance, just because of how low that cooldown is.
So they are still doing Roshan, a little bit scary because, well, it's still fast, but if they get Ravage here, this might just be the throw of the century. But Blink, Primal Split comes out, Leo gets Silence, Matastel to get rid of it, gets the Stone Gaze off. Beyonce will be hexed up in the meantime. Ravage completely whiffs. Oh, shoot! No, why did you blink before? They lose the Lion. Supernova will go down, I think, although Beyonce might not have enough. I guess Brewlings will not work for that one, as Lee Honky getting bashed, getting killed by Roshan completely. Leo still alive somehow, but now surrounded by too many heroes, I believe. Trying to TP out. Fisher will stop it, even swapped out as well. Sunray just won't be enough healing. Throw buys back, and this fight could have been so different had Show just blinked before Ravage.
Yeah. I don't think there's much else to talk about. Tidehunter completely with
that
Ravage.
was a sigh, man.
It was. Like, there's really nothing else you pick this hero for other than Ravage. I mean, he does farm Ancients pretty well, but if you whiff that spell, you're a liability for the team. In the end, it's going to be a pretty easy fight for Kingdom. They do have to buy back on the Draw Ranger, but she died to Roshan didn't give anything to the enemy team, and I think they'll be able to take a second lane here at the very least. Force a Medusa
Was there
buyback.
like a random power shot that could have cancelled this blink or something?
Maybe. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that's good play by Kingdom.
Yes. Oh god, I was like, I saw the Ravage tentacles at max range, not even being close to heroes. I was like, oh god damn. But he does have a refresher, so it's gonna be a surprise Ravage anyway, I guess. But man, up against G's, up against Aegis, not gonna be easy.
No, definitely not. Maybe it is just an elaborate bait, so he'll get a second chance at redemption here, where Kingdom think they're not pushing up into a Ravage, so maybe, just maybe, he can find the perfect opportunity. We'll just have to see. Troll Warlord still pushing up towards top. It's something Kingdom need to be wary of, but Beyonce with that Aegis is able to just truck through a tier 3 tower. Blink and Ravage. They'll only catch out the Wind Ranger with this one, but in the end, can they even kill her? The Sunray does do enough damage, but that's only the Aegis. The Echo Slam onto pretty much everything. Catches out both of the supports instantly. The Medusa is there with the Stone Gaze, but doesn't end up actually stoning anybody. Now they shackle up Leo over in the sidelines, focus her down, and Leo's completely dead after buying back, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, that's going to be a second lane for Kingdom. I think they've blown this game wide open.
I think this game isn't only open, it's probably over even. Because there's no way they can defend the third Drax now without that Medusa being there, without the Ravage. It's sad to say, but Tidehunter, of course Phoenix didn't have the greatest of games either, but it's like supports not having like maximum effect is kind of acceptable, but Joe does go in. They might even get the kill on draw if, well, if Troll got close enough, but no BKB gets casted back and suddenly can't do anything at all. There's a Necro level 3 even picked up from the Brewmaster now, well, pretty much just because he can.
Yeah, pretty much. The Supernova is going to be dropped, but Draw Ranger wasn't attacked by those Fire Spirits, but Finger of Death is going to crater down the drone. Maybe there's some amount of chance. Chase, very tanky up on the front lines, is going to win the fight up against Kenji because of the raw mischance. Magic Missile flies through, and he's going to be bashed down by those Necronomicon warriors. Buyback from the Troll Warlord. They still have 30 seconds, no Dusa, and even without the Draw Ranger, Kingdom still should be able to do this.
I mean, even if they back off now, they can still come back later on, although Focus Fire on the Ancient. Lion already used the Hex, BKB, and yeah, it's GG.
Beyonce will be able to chip that one down. A good game by Kingdom. I really like G7's draft, and I thought that they'd be able to carry this through a little bit harder, but in the end, they just don't find a way to mesh all of those big teamfight ultimates, and the early laning stage was pretty lackluster. In the end, it's going to be Kingdom to snowball this one to victory 1-0 currently in the 2-game series.
Yeah, it's Kingdom all in all. They've been looking extremely strong so far in this season for the Dota League, and looks to be just continuing on the same route at the moment.
Well, there you have it. Game 2 will be up shortly, so don't go anywhere.